Today I'm flying EasyJet from Newcastle to Belfast International. I'll be comparing the standard seating to the extra comfort that you get in the exit row, as well as checking out the newly renovated Aspire Lounge to see if we can add a small touch of luxury to our EasyJet experience. We arrived at the airport about 2 hours before our 9:15pm departure and made our way inside. I really like the boards that they have outside at Newcastle International that just let you know how busy security is. I'm pleased to see that it was only a 2-minute wait currently. We didn't have any bags to check, but we did take a look at the EasyJet check-in counters and saw that there was no one queuing. And this is often the case when we do this journey, and also on the reverse from Belfast to Newcastle as well, very rarely a long line. Obviously, I think that's just because it's a bit of a short journey. Most people are popping over in one direction for the weekend. Chances are your wait will be a bit longer if you're flying off to a sun holiday destination. Newcastle Airport have introduced the new scanners where you don't need to take anything out of your bag, so getting through security is a relatively quick process most of the time. Unfortunately, since they've brought it in, they just seem to always be understaffed when we're going through, so it did take a bit longer than it should have done. And we made our way into what seemed to be a very, very empty airport. There's quite a few newly opened restaurants, cafes and bars in there, but we decided to make our way down to the Aspire Lounge, which had recently undergone some renovations, and you can see the corridors having a bit of work as well. And we were able to access the lounge via our priority passes. I really like the look of the new lounge. It feels a lot more spacious, the furniture is a lot nicer, and it just feels a bit clean and modern. The old one was a bit dingy and always felt really overcrowded. And I really like there's the odd kind of local touch with the artwork as well. What I didn't appreciate was arriving there at 7:25, they'd actually already finished serving food. The lounge closes at 8pm every evening, and they tend to stop serving food at around 7:30, but they decided to stop it a bit early this time, so we had to make do with just getting some drinks. And we both decided to treat ourselves to a Bailey's hot chocolate. There was a bit of an extra charge for this, but it wasn't a lot. Promptly at 8pm we were booted out the lounge and made our way back into the terminal, which had started to get quite a bit busier, but thankfully it wasn't too long before we were called to board. EasyJet allows quite limited amounts of baggage to be taken on for free, and anything bigger than a small bag that would fit under the seat in front of you is an extra charge. After a short wait in the departure lounge, it was then finally time to board. There's no jet bridge, but you do just go outside and walk up these steps. Thankfully it's not a bus gate or anything. The seat configuration is in a 3-3. EasyJet do charge extra for seating, and we decided not to pay this today. We made our way to our assigned seats and tried to make ourselves comfortable. The knee space is really limited on these, I've got to say, and I wasn't really looking forward to this flight, albeit it is only a short journey. You've got a seat pocket, they do have individual air vents as well, which is great to see, and there's also a tray table that folds out like this. Not too much more to say about the seat, no thrills, but it's also not bad either. In the seat pocket in front there was a menu for the onboard food and drink. Whilst I was having a look through this, we were approached by one of the cabin crew who offered us an exit row seat. It turns out there was actually no one that had paid for the exit row seat, and they needed some people to sit in here for safety reasons. This is actually the second flight in a row with EasyJet where this has happened to us, where we've ended up in the exit row despite not booking it. And it honestly makes such a difference to the comfort that you have. It's so much better, so much more legroom, we could really stretch out, and having the row to ourselves meant that we could keep the seat between us free as well to just have even more space. The only downside with the exit row seat, if you're at the window, this armrest is really small and my arm just slips off it all the time, so that's the only downside though. Overall it's a really, really nice seat. It does make me wonder if they picked us on purpose, because it does now make me think that if we're going again I'd probably want to actually pay for that seat selection. To be honest though, the amount that we fly over to Belfast and back with EasyJet, it is probably worth us considering an EasyJet Plus membership, and then we will get free seat selection. I'd be interested to hear in the comments if any of you have EasyJet Plus, and just to know if it's worth it. Had a quick stop in the loo, which is pretty basic as you'd expect, but all the essentials are there. And when I made my way back to my seat, it was almost time to land. It's obviously a really short journey. I probably could have done it just fine in that normal seat, and I have done it plenty of times before, but I think just having that window seat and having the space between us free really does make a big difference to the enjoyment of the flight. I think in particular, if you're looking at doing a bit of a longer journey with EasyJet, anything that's kind of 2+ hours, if you can afford to pay for the seat selection, I really would recommend it to go for the exit row or for one of the front rows. I think it'll make a big difference to the comfort of your journey. And I think in that way it is possible to make EasyJet a bit of a luxury experience if you want to. Obviously, if you have the lounge access beforehand, you're just getting the holiday started off nicely. If you can then get yourself the comfy seat on board, and also if you decide to pay for any food or drink on board, yes, it makes it a bit more expensive, but it can just make it a really nice experience and a really great flight. Thanks very much for watching. If you do enjoy these flight reviews, please do consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.